So when you're trying to compare means using student T, we're going to talk about two different cases. In the textbook, there are 3 different cases, but we don't have, we're not going to cover the third case. And if you're interested, just please go ahead and read the textbook. In this class, we are only covering 2 cases. Case 1 is you compare a merit value with the known value, or you can think it as a population mean. So for example, in the quant lab, we make some unknown sample for you to measure the concentration of a specific species. So from our point of view, that we have the known value of the sample, right? When we are making, for example, calcium carbonate sample, we weigh the mass of the sample. So we know that how much calcium is present in the solution when we give you. But from your side, you don't know the actual value. You just do the measurement and you get, for example, 3 measurement, you can calculate the mean and standard deviation. And how do we compare your measured value to the known value from the GA? That's the first case. So you're comparing one measurement to a known value. The second case is we do replicate measurements and you compare the measurements to each other. So for example, you use the same group of sample, but you use 2 different methods. And with the 2 different methods, you probably will get slightly different result. And can we assume that these 2 results are actually the same with each other, or they are significantly different? Or you can also think about it from another way with the same method, but we use 2 samples. Like as I said, the example I had earlier, the bacteria before and after treatment. So those are two samples, right? You're using the same technique, same method to do the analysis, AFM, to do the imaging, and you calculate the roughness. And the roughness value, you have to compare those 2 roughness values to see whether they're significantly different, right? So those are the 2 cases. For the first case, you will first compute the confidence interval for the measurement and 95% confidence level and see if the range includes the known answer. If the known answer is not within the confidence interval of your final result, then there is less than 5% chance the merit result will agree with the known answer. Okay? So you have to, when you find the confidence interval with your merit result, you will compare it. You will compare the range with the known value and see whether the known value will fall into that range. If it doesn't, then they don't agree. For the second case, you will have to first compare the standard deviation with the F-test, meaning that if you want to compare 2 groups of numbers, 2 groups of data, to decide whether the means are the same, you have to first decide whether their standard deviation are significantly different or not. Okay? And depend on the case, when they're different or when they're not different, the calculation will be different. Okay? So you have to first decide that. You have to first decide whether the standard deviation of the 2 groups are the same, and then you will conduct a t-test to actually determine whether the 2 sets are significantly different from each other or not. Okay? We have 5 minutes left, so I don't think I have time to cover the. Yes. Okay, so you will see later on in the case 2 as well. You can directly compare the range with the number, or you can run a p-test. So when the number is outside the range, it also means that the null hypothesis is being rejected. If you use a p-value to calculate, you will see that the p-value is actually smaller than 0.05. So the null hypothesis is being rejected. Let's look at an example here. A coal sample is certified to contain 3.19 weight% sulfur. And now we use a new analytical method. It measures the values of those determine whether the new measurements agree with the known answer. Okay. This one, I made some changes compared to the textbook. When you have time, please go to the textbook. The textbook has less number of values. And if you see the final answer, it says that because it's right at the edge of the confidence interval, so you need to run more tests, which is why I included more value, even though it's a made up value, but I included more value to show the range more clear. Okay, but please compare this example with the textbook example.